Oh, yeah. It's nice to get a couple of days, and obviously the conference finals is every other day. And so, it's nice to get a couple of days in between to kind of decompress a little bit, try to rest any, ailments you have, and recharge and refocus, and try to get ready for Thursday. So, obviously, we were on a pretty big high after closing the series out, but now we got to shift our focus towards Golden State.
Having, I guess, had a couple of days to kind of study them a little bit, I'm sure there's always a minute when you look at a team you're supposed to play at this level and go, what do we do? But what's it like looking at the team that's that good, that accomplished, and trying to figure out?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to game plan for these guys. They've done it at a really high level for a long time now, and they play really well. And they're not a perfect team by any means, but they do what they do at a high level, and they don't leave you very much margin for error. And so you got to understand going out there, you got to be really locked into whatever our game plan is at the time, and just a mental focus that it's going to take to try to win against this team. Our mental focus has got to be at an all-time high, and that's one thing that we just got to think about in the next couple of days going forward, is just how in tune we have to be on the defensive end, offensively, and just trying to execute every aspect of our game plan.
In terms of your job and assignment, Fred, you had to chase JJ in the second round, who's an elite guy like that. But is there anyone in the league that puts kind of more pressure on you on the perimeter than Steph?
No. I don't even know if there's a close second. He's just a different kind of player. He changes the entire dynamic of a team, of an offense, of whatever defense you hope to put out there. And as another guy who's going to have to try to chase him around and make it hard on him, obviously, there's not going to be any time to relax or take plays off or anything like that. So you got to be, like I said, really locked in mentally, and just understand what he brings to the table. And at the end of the day, just go out there and try to make it tough on him, try to challenge him, and do the best I can.
More and more guys are taking those long threes that Steph kind of started, but did he almost kind of break the rules of how you have to guard someone on the perimeter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was the first person to ever do it, but I know he's certainly done it at the highest level for the longest amount of time. He literally changed the game in the last however many years, and kind of revolutionized the way people think about offense and shooting, and obviously from a guard, just being able to shoot from that far out opens the floor up so much. So I think he was one of the main guys to be able to do that, and obviously you see it, blossoming for a guy. I always think of Trae Young coming in as a rookie, shooting those shots. Like, I couldn't imagine a guy doing that 10 years ago as a rookie coming in, just firing them, make or miss. It doesn't matter, because you know what it can turn into. And I think that stuff is kind of opening doors a little bit for that.
So Fred's saying that, how do you not stop him, how do you slow him down?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what our plan is, but I think that just try to go out there, and this is what any player in the NBA likes: space, freedom, movement. Nobody really wants to be banged on and touched on and held and grabbed, and just got to try to be as physical as you can, slow him down, and keep a contest. And so a guy like that, who is a really good shooter against contests, you can't really give him free looks and let him feel free and easy. You just got to try to muck it up and keep the pressure on him, and stay attached, and chase him around and send him to help. But it's a five-man job, and we got to understand that it's not a one-on-one or Steph versus Kyle or Kauai versus whoever. It's a 5-on-5 game, and our team defense is going to have to be really good, and we're going to make mistakes, and we got to be able to clean each other's mistakes up, and second fire, third fire. You got to be able to just keep playing and play through runs and play through mistakes and be able to help each other.
Obviously, different scores, different types of players, but does it make you, even as a teammate, as a player, appreciate then what Kauai can do, where you can score in so many different ways, but then also still be able to be that physical defender and bring it on that end and forth?
Yeah, for sure. There's not a lot of guys, unfortunately, in our league that can do that. And it's not like, we asked Kauai to do that all year. I think that that's something that's kind of in the tank, right, for these type of moments. There's none left to rest for now, right? So a guy who's that skilled as an offensive scorer and who's been scoring at that clip that can still be that dominant as a defensive player is pretty special, and that's how you get yourself in some of those conversations as one of the best players to lace them up. So we understand what Kauai brings to the table, and obviously we appreciate him and are glad that he's on our side, and we're going to need him at a high level this series.
Fred, you talked about moving past the emotional high of winning in the conference finals. What do you do to do that? And is that something you guys talked about as a group, kind of making that mental move on?
No, it's not that difficult. You win, you have a great night, and you enjoy it, and you wake up and you sleep or whatever you do the next day, and then you come in yesterday and we work out and we watch film and we move on. So none of us in October and July and June of last year were working out thinking about the conference finals. You know, it's a great accomplishment, and we're happy to be taking that next step, but you want to win a championship, and you want to win the whole thing. It's not about just making it to the finals. We're not satisfied. We're not happy to be here. We're really hungry, and we want to go out here and have a chance to win it, and we've earned it, and we deserve it. And now it's just a matter of going out there and having to perform at a high level on the biggest stage. I mean, we certainly don't have that attitude. I can't control what other people think or feel. Obviously, I feel that there's a general high in the city of Toronto and people just excited for the opportunity and getting over that hump. But as players, we're not happy or satisfied with what we've done. It's like I said, a great accomplishment to be able to do it in the fashion that we did it. And that was a big moment, and then you move on. You enjoy it, and like I said, you wake up the next day and you move on. And certainly, we're going out there to take it another step, and then we can celebrate and have all the parties you guys want to. But until then, we're going to try to stay pretty locked in.
Fred, is there anything about Steph that's a little bit underrated?
Underrated? I don't know if a guy like that. It depends on what's rated, like who's rating him.
Something I guess when you're studying him and
Like that you don't notice. Yeah, I think that it's been glorified a little bit more now. It's just his movement off the ball when he gives it up. Obviously, we're starting to see it more. Like I know they telecast focus on it quite a bit, but I think he's a really good rebounder. He has a nose for the ball, and he crashes the offensive glass way more than you would think for a guy of his size and stature. And he's just really got a good nose for the ball, and he makes big plays, and he's tough, and he's not. I wouldn't call him a lockdown defender by any means, but he makes big plays for those guys, and he is what he is. I'm not gonna sit up here and compliment him all day because we got to go out there and compete. But obviously, a guy like that, you respect him, and I'm gonna try to go out there and beat him, and that's our mindset.
Fred, when you look at the challenge Pascal's had from Joel to Giannis and now may get Draymond in the final, how have you seen him react to that challenge of, like, that's two of the greatest guys there are?
Yeah, I think that just seeing the growth and the adaptation of Pascal. I've been knowing Pascal for a few years now. Obviously, we played against each other in college, and just watching his growth as a player and having not played the game since he was young, he got on pretty late. So to see the growth and maturity and just how fast he picks things up has been pretty special. And he's answered every challenge that we need him to do. We need him to score. He scored. We need him to guard. He's guarded. He's guarded everybody that you can think of. I just remember, our first 2 years, him coming in the league, first impression, he's got to guard KD as a rookie, right? Obviously, we know the LeBron story. He was one of the main guys that had to guard him. So he's had those experiences, he's had those battles, and that forward, 3-4 position in this league is very, very tough. Those are the greatest of the greats in that position, and Pascal's had to battle against all of them. So he's definitely earning his stripes, and hopefully those experiences will allow him to go out there and be able to have a good foundation to be able to guard whoever we need him to guard.
You were one of the few guys who saw him play in his rookie year, or played with him with the Raptors and 905. How much did what you did there, and the way you played there, change your perception and of him as a player?
I think we got different viewpoints of like the G League, D League experience. Like I think for me, just that kind of just changes a player's mindset. Going, he didn't do anything down there that I've never seen him do. It's just he's having the opportunity to do it. So just to see it flush out of his system and kind of go out there and put it into a game scenario and watching him score and his skill set has developed so much over the last few years. But like you see him run the floor, like you would see him run the floor a couple of times and up here. And, you know, when he was starting the first 20 games and he would get a couple of dunks from Kyle and stuff like that. And then you go watch him down there, and I was playing with him, and he's running the floor, he's rebounding, he's getting to the line. And it just seems like a Pascal game. And you go to the stat sheet, he's got 35 or 30 points, and you're like, damn, he's really putting the ball in the rim at a high level. So I think his scoring is really took a big step, and obviously the shooting is a big part of that.
Fred, you talked about the sort of passion of the fans here. Do you have a sense of how unique that is in the NBA to have that kind of level of excitement? You know, the people who come outside. Does it kind of make you think more of like a kind of crowd fan base you had at Wichita State, maybe?
Yeah, I think there's some similarities there. I think that somebody was saying it's more like soccer, you know, like how those fan bases are so passionate. But I don't know. I just think we got a really good fan base. I don't know what to compare it to. I think that it's definitely unique in the NBA, and I think that our situation is unique where the fans are so thirsty for success and so hungry, and obviously there's been a lot of ups and downs through this franchise, and so to be in this position is a big jump. And you know, like I said, we'll see how crazy they get once we take care of business. But until then, I'm not too concerned about whatever that may bring. I love the support. Us players definitely appreciate it. I know this organization appreciates it, to see those fans outside during the game when it's raining or whatever the case may be. They're still out there, and obviously we got a pretty good home court advantage as well. So our fans bring it almost every night. They travel. We see them in many NBA cities, and we see them all over the world. Every time I go on vacation, I find about 100 people from Toronto. It pisses me off because I'm just trying to go enjoy myself and have a drink on vacation. But, you know, it's something that you really take to heart, and you cannot take it for granted as a player. So obviously there's a really good connection between us as players and our fans, who we really appreciate.
Fred, each of the teams you guys have faced along this playoff run have been so different style-wise. Can you speak to the team's ability to be adaptable, how effective you guys are at that, and how much effective you'll need to be in this?
Yeah, it's been really wild. You know, just like as a player, you get so used to routine and being stuck in whatever. This is what we do. We're gonna do it at a high level, and we don't care what the other team is doing. I think that Nick has kind of changed that a little bit, where we were really adaptable throughout the year. We struggled sometimes because of it. We tried a lot of different things, and some of those things didn't mesh and they didn't make sense. But now at this point in the season, we're able to do a lot of different things, and we've been through those adversities to prove it. So, like you said, Orlando is way different than Philly. Philly different from Milwaukee, and we were able to win in different ways and go from, you know, a one-on-one ISO show in Philly to playing 6 guys to more of a bench ball movement, moving the ball around against Milwaukee, and you got to be able to do that. So the playoffs is really long, and there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of different ways you got to win the ball games. And I think that, you know, now is another step to playing the Warriors, which is entirely different than anybody else in the league, and we understand that. So I think just being adaptable, having a lot in your toolbox, and just being able to go out there and play at a high level regardless of what style of play you're playing is something that can help you in certain situations.
Fred, you talked about understanding that there's going to be mistakes. One of the things with the Warriors is they can go on those big, quick runs. When those runs are happening, how important is it going to be to stay in the moment, not get overwhelmed by it?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of playing against these guys, is knowing how hot they get, and they're really explosive. And I think that we've dealt with that. That's the playoffs in general. I think that Philly went on some crazy runs against us. I know Milwaukee certainly did a couple of those games, and some of the games we responded and some didn't. But we understand what it's going to take to get yourself out of those situations, and you just got to know that it's not going to be a perfect game. There's no perfect game plan, and we're certainly not going to play perfect. So you just got to weather the storm, stay locked in, keep competing, keep fighting. If they make a couple in a row, keep taking the ball out, take it down the other way, and let it fly. And so just got to continue to keep scrapping and playing our game, and I think the rest will take care of itself.
As a point guard, is that something you're more mindful of, whether keeping the tempo up?
Yeah, I think just keeping the pace up, right? It's harder to score when you're taking the ball out the net every time, but it's something you got to make a conscious effort to do is take the ball out, get it up the floor, run something, try to get another bucket to stop the bleeding, or even, if we're not scoring, to get to the foul line, something like that, just to keep the flow of the game and not hang your head every time they make a good play.
Thank you.
Thanks.